Save Salvata, the city that we love. An evil force has corrupted our home. Many fell and now the boss they stand alone. Blessed power rains down in waterfall. Holy magic designed by the Emerald Cabal. Injustice rots our city's very soul. Oppression is the noble's only goal. Rebellion rings in every street and every tavern hall. Now the time has come, my friends, to all answer the call. All answer the call. Now answer the call. Sirens, Battle of the Bards is an epic 5th edition campaign and setting, set in the decadent city of Salvata. Filled to the brim with over 300 pages, 20 adventures, over 10 new Bard subclasses, and countless magical items, this is a fully immersive adventure. Mystery, intrigue, and deception lurk within every dark alley. The City of Salvata features 10 districts, including battle coliseums, amphitheaters, comedy clubs, taverns, bazaars, underground magic fighting rings, a new Bardic University, and much, much more. You don't need to be a bard to adventure here. All are welcome in Salvata. Dive even further into the story with our partners, Mixed Dimensions, Wormwood, Level Up Dice, Campaign Coins, and Sirenscape. With a Weave storytelling platform, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Shard, and Foundry VTT, you can even play virtually. With a full orchestral soundtrack, multiple endings, and new game mechanics to encourage exploration and improvisation, Sirens Battle of the Bards places your party not only in the crucible of conquest, but at the heart of a battle for the soul of a growing empire. Will you sell out? Will the city be ground to dust? Will the heavens be lured down and open before you? Will you join the Emerald Cabal, the Rebellion, or forge your own path? The fate of tens of thousands is in your party's hands. Join our Kickstarter and inspire revolution.
Go! Oh, we're here. We're already live. All right, cool. Hey, everyone, and welcome. This is Weave the Tell. We are interviewing Satine Phoenix and Jamison Stone, both a part of Apotheosis Studios, who are doing a lot of big things just in the last year. Like, holy, yeah, feel free to flex, because just trying to catch up to everything, and my wallet's screaming just because of all the amazing content that you guys are delivering. And as a huge fan of like the indie and third party stuff for 5e, like just keep going, do the thing.
Well, it's so funny because we met during his first not his first, but his last Kickstarter, like in the live stream, and we fell in love. And then
are you kidding me?
Hyper creative.
Yeah, it was the pilot for our TV show. Actually, it was so wild.
It was 7 days before the end of his Kickstarter, and we met. And I think the moment it ended, we started really chatting each other up. And then then I moved in like immediately.
We're talking about Red Opera, right?
Red Opera, exactly.
The end of Red, like, oh my gosh.
So literally, we were still making the Red Opera right here.
Such a gorgeous book.
Oh my gosh, we're so proud of it. So excited for people to enjoy it. But yes, literally, it was during the pilot for the TV show, and Satine jumped in halfway through the episode, and I was just absolutely astounded.
Why is this guy so quiet?
Yeah,
That's so weird.
I've been playing a swashbuckling rogue ship captain named Domidrid Steele, which is a character from my first novel, The Apprentice, and he's very boisterous, and he's a ship captain. He's like he's a pirate, privateer pirate. And then Satine came on camera, and I had known of Satine a little bit, but not really.
You didn't have any idea.
I had no idea. I had no
all.
idea really of who she was. I'm just a game dev, so I'm always down writing. And Satine popped on camera. I was like, who is this goddess? Who are you? Yeah.
And I was like,
oh my God,
who are you? And it was like Dreamweaver, and like the fuzzy, like this halo around his face, soft glow, and I was just so smitten. And my character ran behind his character, and I was trying to interact with him so hard, and he was so quiet. And then we do a rewatch, and I'm because I missed the first half. And I'm like, did nothing but talk the first half.
The team blown away. Everyone though. Like, it was so funny. Once Amber Lightheart, that was the character you're playing. Once you came in, everyone was just like, oh my God. And like even all the like the players were like, Amber, what do you need? Like, we'll get it for you.
I'm very larger than life on when I game. I just get really into it.
You're larger than life in real life too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So Jamison, what was the music playing in your background? I'm a romantic at heart, so hearing this, just like I'm gonna dig into this a little bit. What was the song in your head that was playing when you first saw Satine? What were you thinking? Like, what was that song?
So it's actually really funny. I was listening to the orchestral soundtrack of the Red Opera while we were playing the Red Opera. And I swear to God, she came in. It was probably like, I don't know, it was like Requiem or one of the really intense songs, just like this, like huge full orchestra was playing in the background, which people can listen. The QR codes are in our book.
Yeah.
It's a perfect companion to run the Red Opera. But he was just like, there's, violins and thunderous pianos and full brass section. And then, Amber Lightheart, Satine walks in. I'm just like, oh my God, who are you?
I have a rule that never, I'm so professional. I've been in the scene for over 10 years. And I'm never, ever hit on anybody, and it's always very professional. And I turned a putty when I saw him. So
oh my God, that's
and
so
now we're married.
And
so.
now we're married. So it worked out. Yeah. Find true love.
It's a really good Kickstarter.
Yeah, find true love. Well, exactly.
Yeah. It was like a stretch goal for Red, like a secret hidden stretch goal.
Exactly.
Get to this point, find true love. Yeah.
Exactly. In a warlock, a city of warlocks.
Yeah,
I'd sell my soul for that.
Oh, this is perfect. Oh man, I can gush on that all day, because I was watching. I was following you guys on Facebook and Twitter, and seeing the house come together and everything. It was just I was like, oh, that's so cute. And when you guys saw snow as well, outside, I was like, oh. These are the happy thoughts and scenarios we need to watch during the Panini time or pandemic time, because it's so wholesome and beautiful and wonderful.
We try.
I'm from LA. This is a whole thing. There's weather and he's like, yeah, spring's gonna be great. And I'm like, the air is clean. There's grass. There's a lawn. We've got a backyard. There's rooms. It's amazing. So I feel like even though I'm 40, I feel like I get to experience the world. And I usually just travel the world. I go to countries and try to grab all the community and get them together. And as much as I love that and jet setting, this is the longest I've been in one place and the most wonderful, creative time of my life. So,
oh, it's brilliant when you can find a home that just kind of, you find magic with every single day, and it's just like, oh, this is brilliant, and that's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm curious what the hidden stretch goal is for Sirens Battle of the Bards.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. What's it gonna be? You guys have already gotten to the stars. What's after that? What?
I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Well, we. I like to think of this as since we are so hyper creative and we love working and we love making, you know, art and writing. He's an author. He has this fantasy novel and a graphic novel. I'm a nonfiction writer and I have a graphic novel. So it's like, how can we create as much as possible? And if you go to the Kickstarter, you can see we go all the way in. We have all these different partners, you know, for our book, and we have music. And, you know, it's not going to be the end. There's going to be so much more. And we even have stuff we can't even announce yet, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, I know. Our art director, David Granjo, he's having his wedding celebration. He's been married, I think, for 5+ years, but they're actually having a celebration now for their wedding. So that's another little hidden stretch goal. So that's cool. So shout out to David Granjo and Paula Granjo.
I feel like every Apotheosis Kickstarter should be accompanied by true love, just somewhere in the environment. So I'm really interested. But yeah, Sirens, Battle of the Bards. I mean, you guys did, Jamison did Red Opera not too long ago, and Sirens, Battle of the Bards definitely has a very unique flair to it. I think it's something that everyone wanted for a very long time. But how did the start of this happen? Were you guys at your new place? Were you outside? Was it the snow? I need to know what prompted this.
Yeah, so I've been doing a show. At first, it was called Sirens of the Realms, and it was on the Dungeons and Dragons Twitch stream, and that was 4 years ago. Now we're on season 4. You know, we had a huge hiatus because it was a group of women and traveling as bards. There was an all bard band on tour through the realms, and it was a way for me to explore the Forgotten Realms because I love Eberron. That's like my main thing. But I've taken it from that, and it's no longer about wizard. I mean, it's no longer Dungeons and Dragons. It's my baby. So when we came together, and he has a production studio, and I've always wanted to do a book, so it was kind of this natural progression. And also, Sirens keeps evolving. It's no longer just about the one band, and even over the seasons, some of the girls come in, and we actually, it's no longer all girls. It's now, you know, everyone's welcome. Jason Charles Miller is our siren bro, and that's really fun.
That's awesome.
It's no longer about that one band. It's now about Vlania and her entire spy network, and how, you know, in the book itself is Vlania saying, this city is in need, and we need to gather our resources, and we need you to come and help save this city. So now it's about how you can be a band in a performance troupe in her spy network, and less about actually being a band and more about being cooperative together, and you know, maybe posing as a band, and that's always fun too.
Yeah, so players can be sirens themselves. They can join in on the fun.
Yeah, but even further, it's like I want them to come up with their band name and their power, and really, you know, like, I want adventurers and players to kind of really embrace what it's like and their version of bards and their version of art, because, you know, everything you see now, it's about like, I'm a bard, I'm showy, and I'm going to make a lot of noise, and bards have a bad rap. So yeah, we want you to be like, oh, are you introverted or extroverted? How can we lean into one of those? How are you a multi-class? Are you a monk and you want to be a bard? What does that look like? So yeah, it started off as this one idea, and now has blossomed into a way for us to really connect with the community.
Yeah, and there's a lot of connections. I mean, you have Sirenscape, you have beautiful, gorgeous art, animations, and the like, in like this beautiful book of creativity and wonder. So how was it approaching this kind of book compared to like Red Opera or stuff you guys have done in the past? Something being so like centered around the creation of art in essence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Red Opera was really fun because we really leaned into the nature of warlocks, and so various patrons, anything from an archfey to a fiend to an an eldritch deity to a great old one, and so Young Koth, that's the dual city in the Shadelands for the setting of that book, is very dark and brooding. It's like as though it's always nighttime or evening or dusk and like raining. It's not. They have daytime too, but it has that oppressive, spooky feeling, and it's perfect for warlocks. With Sirens Battle of Bards, we wanted to really focus on the artistic nature of bards. And so if we had what would a warlock city feel like, what would a bardic city feel like? And again, not just a minstrel. Minstrels are fantastic bards, but there are many types of bards. And so literally building it from the ground up of what would a city of artists feel like. And so there's art everywhere in all of its various forms. The actual discs of the city are literally being held up by statues of the past artists and leaders who have built the city. And it's built on this oasis of magical water called Kesava that is invoked and brought down by the gods. And the actual city itself is a gigantic superstructure that is a magical item to invoke this magical quality from the gods, so that the artists can do more of their art magically infused. So it's been fantastic. And when you have those really bright lights, those artists who just create and create and create, those bright lights have attract other people, more dark and nefarious who cast very deep and dark shadows. And so
LA,
yeah, very much like Los Angeles. And in our word, you can slay them, which is fantastic. In LA, it's
there we go. Got to get lawyers involved in everything. It's the whole process.
Exactly, the lawyer bards. Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's fantastic. So for someone who's like, okay, bards are cool, but I don't know if I want to play one. What are kind of the options or expectations for that sort of player in the verse?
Yeah, so we looking at it from different like lenses, right? Now, I went to art school. I'm a classically trained artist. I went to school for 3D animation, 2D animation, sculpture, stop motion animation, and illustration. And by taking all these courses, I was able to meet other artists and kind of see what things that you can do when you go to a university. So at a university, you can go down the sculpture route, and then from there, there's all these other jobs that you can do. So we're kind of looking at our University of Salvata in that light. So we've got 10 new Bardic subclasses. One of them is College of Anatomy. And this is a bard that doesn't use verbal components to cast their spells. They are masters of their bodies. These are people who can communicate, because you have to think about, what is a bard? A bard is an artist. A writer is an artist. An actor is an artist. And so what is an artist? An artist is a master communicator that evokes emotion. That is what they do. Either it's to bring you in and entice you, or it's to repel you and make you go away. So if you think of bards in that way, there's a whole lot you can do. Are you introverted? Do you want to make art in quiet in behind the scenes? Or do you want to make art and have it go off in front of everybody? There's ways to prepare your art and ways to create art in the moment. And so we're really looking at all that. So instead of having your charisma-based bard for everything, now you've got a dex-based bard. And we also have College of Geometry that celebrates math. This is your architect. This is your jewelry designer. Someone that sees the sacred geometry and fractals and are able to create out of that, whether it is behind the scenes or in combat, being able to pull up architecture to help protect your friends or do things to attack. And yeah, we're looking at it from different elements. I know Jamison's favorite is now the college that we have for this. We're still developing all of these. This one doesn't have a name, but if you take this college, you can be a tattoo bard.
Yeah, so you can with tattoos, and then have those tattoos be both combat oriented or role playing oriented, and it also can make a really fantastic NPC where you can go as a player character and seek out a tattoo bard to infuse your character with magical essence. And sometimes it might be a temporary tattoo, or a permanent tattoo.
Yeah.
And there's so many wide array of how to be able to invoke the magical quality of artistry for these classes and subclasses. And some people may not want to play a bard, and that's totally fine. What we did with the Red Opera is, again, based off of warlocks, we made it very easy for people to take a subclass and multi-class in warlocks, but you don't have to be a warlock to enjoy Yom Koth, and you don't have to be a bard to enjoy Salvata. And in fact, we designed it so if you have a pre-existing character, and it could be a party of adventurers that have been playing together for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and maybe even very high level, tier 3 and maybe even tier 4, the rare tier 4 party.
Yeah,
we've created these campaign and setting books to be very conducive for you to just pop your party right in and have a very compelling and enjoyable experience. Even if you don't, just like I love paladins, I can understand a person, I don't want to play a bard, but I still want to experience this new setting and have a very epic adventure, have a lot of player agency, and have a wonderful experience. And they may not want to dabble in bards.
Yeah, we have mechanics for that in the book as well. So it's like, how do you bring your adventurers in and not require them to do performance for everything? Because that is such a fallback that a lot of people do. What if you're a barbarian and you want to be a part of a troop? Yep. Well, you attack. And so I'm very excited. We've broken up the book into smaller books within this one, massive book.
Yeah.
So that we have a chapter for players. This is how you can participate with the group and have a cooperative experience. Game masters, this is how you run it so that you're not just relying on performance and neglecting the traits, features, and abilities of your other classes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds brilliant. So it sounds like there's a lot of options, and the city in of itself, even if you don't want to play a bard, is enough to explore and to have a wonderful campaign, which is super awesome for people listening. Definitely check that out. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop it in. I mean, we have one question right now from a bold Solarion. Does that interact with the optional rules from Tasha's? I don't know if we need more clarity for that, but
I don't know what you're talking about because I haven't read Tasha's.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've checked that out. So feel free, Bold Solarion, to expand on that question, and we'll get back to it. But in the meantime. Okay.
Well, I guess we can kind of answer it. So we've developed this city so that we are, in the book, we're giving you options to level up your game mastering. We're giving options to level up your role playing. The book itself has 10 main chapters. So you go along a timeline. The entire thing is probably the most player agencyed game that I've ever been a part of and created with anybody. So there's that. There's side quests. But if you want to just play in the city is rich enough for you to just take the city and put it in anything.
You could even play in a different system. It doesn't even have to be 5th edition. Yeah, you played in World of Darkness. You can play it in Pathfinder.
Yeah, this is Oasis Vegas.
Yeah. And so again, when I think of myself as a game master, I like to have tools. And so I want to have tools laid out in front of me so I can then, paint this picture for my players, so I can curate an experience for them. And then we co-create how that campaign and story goes. And so, leaning into that and having Satine's experience as, game master I can't even describe to you how wonderful it is to have her as creative director on this and leverage all of your experience. But we're offering tools to our game masters and to our players too of how they can really curate an amazing play experience at the table. And so if you want to bring in other subclasses from Tasha's or something else, there should be no conflict at all.
Yeah, it sounds like, just pretty much as a GM or a player, like Sirens, Battle of the Bards is there to broaden and better any game. So it's up to you as the GM to be like, what parts of this do I want in my game? Do I want to just toss out my adventure because this is super awesome and we go with this? However you want. So it's flexible.
It's a hell of a side quest, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Place over a 10-day. And, we suggest people start at tier 2, but we also offer actual stat blocks for tier 3 and 4 NPCs and monsters, because we want people to access it. We don't want game masters to have to overcalculate on their own.
Yeah, do the math on the fly. That's not fun.
Yeah.
It's tedious.
Yeah. But they can. And so, I just was talking earlier today about, this is a campaign book, but you're the game master. You're the one that says, I want to keep this, I want to move this, and, make it your own. And everything that we put in, well, we are experts at this, and, they were play tested and we work things out. But if you want to change it, you can. You can add stuff from other elements and other systems that make sense for you and your table. Yep. And what I really hope is that people can read all the books, the official books, these supplement books, and really kind of nurture and take it and add to their arsenal.
Yeah. And really leaning into player agency too. A lot of the tables that I've been at, both as a player and a game master, it is amazing what players come up with and how they can kind of derail your story in the best ways. And so for this project and for the Red Opera too, we've really leaned into that by allowing, not just allowing, but encouraging player agency. And so in our free sample, we have a free PDF of the first chapter and some of the introductory information at thebardbook.com. We have an actual, full chapter that has 3 acts, and Act 3, or the third act, has a very, very significant, kind of fork in the road where your party can either go right or left, and that has rippling effects to the rest of the campaign. You have a very different outcome, and the actual, interaction that you have is radically different based on that. And to be able to allow players to actually choose what they want to do is fantastic. And that allows the GM to really curate the experience specifically to the player. And we have that also for, not to get into too many details, but for our kind of our nemesis of the book involves a very large fiend. And instead of just having, okay, here's the fiend, we actually have several fiends that you can choose from in a very unique way of then hinting at the fiends to the players as the campaign goes. So even if a player has actually read the campaign, they won't even know what the enemy is that they're fighting, and that allows it to still be fresh and new for them as well.
Yeah, and that whole system, which I'm so proud of our team about, it changes the entire city, and it changes the way the Emerald Cabal actually interacts with your players. So you could actually play this multiple times with the same group or different groups, and you're going to get a different story.
Yep. And with different endings, who knows? One ending you can ally yourself with Vlanya, another you can ally yourself with the Emerald Cabal, another you could just go your own route too, another you could burn the city to the ground. And we have endings for all of those, so players can really do what they want to do. That's why we're playing TTRPGs. It's
building mechanics for freedom.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, so in my head, I see Sirens, Battle of the Bards, and Red Opera as kind of like in the same world, and I wonder if there ever will be kind of any writings or anything that's like, okay, if these two were to interact, what would that look like?
Absolutely, yeah. So we really are trying to kind of curate these different cities and locations, and we have a couple more planned, and we already have some characters. Vajra, the character that I play both in our streams, and then he's also featured in both books, and Vlanya as well, and the Mother of Mirrors, which is another of Satine's characters, are present in both of these stories and will be present in the stories that we continue to work on. And eventually we're then going to start telling meta stories of how these cities interact with each other, and currently we have kind of city ending and world ending kind of catastrophes that you have to overcome, but eventually we'll have world-ending catastrophes. And people who have played through all of these campaigns will see common threads, and we'll be able to go back to NPCs, and we hope to kind of tell like an MCU style, metaverse of all of these locations.
Yeah, it was really important to us. I'm in the scene. I know what people are making out there, and people love making their own settings. And there are these massive kingdoms, and there's so much to learn and having to memorize. And you take your adventure from here, and you go across the continent, and you have to memorize all that. And by doing it this way, where here's a city, the city could be in your realm, the city could be only accessible by a portal. It could be literally anywhere you want. Now we're introducing people to the Wee game, and there's so much that can happen in this city. And now you've got two cities. One's from the north and one is in the desert. You can plant that anywhere you want. Obviously we have the warlockbook.com and we have the bardbook.com. You can kind of see where that's going. And over time, we are able to craft these locations and build out our world without forcing it onto people all at once. Here, slowly learn this, slowly learn that, interact with it. Because I find that if you give, and this is how a dungeon master, if you give too much exposition, honestly, if you give more than 1 minute and 2 max, actually that's way too much. I will say 1 minute of exposition, you've already lost everybody. And so I see maybe it's a mistake, I'm not sure, that people make where they overgive information. So here's a way for you to explore our city, play this campaign, learn about it, learn about the NPCs, the way the government works, the way the factions are. And then, you're like, oh, that was a really cool experience. Now I want to continue playing in this world. Oh, but they also have this other warlock city. We could take a portal over there and go and explore that one. So, these are just two of a whole universe of ideas that Jamison and I have.
Yeah. And it's definitely like, at least for me, like I'm a very tactile learner. And so like when that exposition comes, like my eyes start glazing over. But the moment like I'm in the city and I'm interacting with this NPC, I'll be able to remember that for like months to come, which is really cool. That's kind of building up on that, which it sounds like, the Apotheosis cinematic universe is kind of equating it to Marvel. It sounds like
that's right. I love it.
It sounds like you're building something that's kind of going to be this huge epic thing where we look back and be like, oh man, I saw the first movie or I read the first book and see everything put together.
Yeah, we have our writing director, Rick Heinz. He's got a character that we're going to start throwing in. We're really trying to get our art director to make a character.
And we're weaving it through. What's so fun about this approach too? I was playing on Vancouver by night for Jasper's game day, and we played in the Red Opera. The Red Opera mini-verse, and we had Yonkath as one of the locations. He's like, is it close to Ravenloft? And I was like, it can be if you want. It can be anywhere you need it to be for the story. We have it in the far north, kind of the tundra swept winds of, it's icy and cold, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's the beauty of TTRPGs. It's why I like just love these styles of games so much, because you can make, as a good GM and storyteller, you can make a slight change and it can be right next to Ravenloft. Ravenloft and Yonkath could be at war, or they could be allies fighting someone else. It's whatever serves your story. It's like use our tools. We make them available for you as the GM and as the players to have a great time and tell an epic adventure. That's it. Like, just have fun.
You speak in my language. Like every time, like game designers and TTRPG creators, I love hearing them like telling people just take our world and go crazy with it, because like people are gonna do it.
And let it inspire you. Yeah, like we're writing a book with bards in it, and what do bards do? They inspire and uplift each other. So it's like, let Sirens Battle of the Bards inspire you. You're wandering the streets with your characters and they get excited, and all of a sudden you're like, I know they're gonna love having what did we have? We had a churro vendor for one of when was that? I can't remember. It was like a Jasper's or something. Yeah, there was a churro vendor. And I was like, of course there is. Of course. Why wouldn't there be? Yep. And now you've made that. You and your group have put that in. Also, you found a new alley. What's down that alley? That's for you to make.
Yeah, I know the first thing I create is a Korean hot dog or corn dog. Yeah, nice. I think that's a like those are so
Wait,
delicious.
Korean corn dog? What is that?
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's oh gosh, it's just oh my wife took it to me. It's like it's like a core. It's sweet and it's weird and I don't even know how to describe it. I just I want to eat more.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so definitely
Korean barbecue is one of our favorite. Yeah, we normally eat pescatarian, but we'll cheat for Korean barbecue.
Yeah, we went to Vegas for our wedding. Yeah, very safe, of course. Yeah. And there's all these like famous restaurants, and we're walking down the alley, and we're like, "Is that Korean barbecue?"
And it looked really good.
And then we ate there multiple nights.
We then came back. We came back. We brought some friends and came back. They're like, "You came back again?" Because in Vegas, there's like a zillion cool. You can't see everything. It's impossible. It's like Salvata.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You came back." We're like, "We had a really great time here." Like, and they were like, "Thank you so much for coming back." We're like, "You guys are awesome. The food's fantastic." Yeah. I look forward to going back to that restaurant again.
Think about it.
Yeah, I'll throw hands really for Korean barbecue like anytime. And my favorite here on the East Coast is Iron Age. So if you're ever on the East Coast, check out Iron Age. It is, oh man, it's making me hungry. Fantastic. This is bad. This is bad stuff. But yeah, so what is kind of the main theme of the campaign? Like if you were pitching it to someone to be like, this is for this type of player or someone who kind of wants this type of story, what would that be?
Absolutely. The way that I like to look at it, if you like Bards, it's 100% for you. So that's an instant in. And if you don't like Bards, that's totally okay too. Again, for us and for me as creative director and CEO of Apotheosis Studios, these campaigns and settings need to stand up on their own, regardless of whatever class we happen to be highlighting and focusing on. And so for someone who as a game master or storyteller or player who's interested in Sirens, Battle of the Bards, interested in Salvata, they would want to think about it as a city in which you're infiltrating under the guise of being part of a band, to infiltrate the city, to be able to have access to a very, very, very coveted event called the Grand Invocation. The Grand Invocation is when Calrath, who's the Grand Chancellor, calls down with the rest of the city, as the city is a magical item, and opens up a portal and a gateway into the high heavens and allows the gods to then bequeath energy upon them. And this has been happening for hundreds of years. And this is the 1000th year that this has occurred. And it's the last time the gods have said, it's the last time we will do this for you. So make this one count. So Calrath has built this capping stone, the 10 disc of the city. Every 100 years, they build another disc higher and higher and higher. And you can see the imagery of it at thebardbook.com.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and he's created this Metatron's cube, which is all the Platonic solids, and it basically represents everything in the material universe as this capping stone to create like a battery, a self-recharging battery with the oasis waters of Kesava in the bottom. However, again, when there are bright lights, there's the deepest, darkest shadows. And so the Emerald Cabal, they are card-carrying, fiend worshippers, much like those of Yonkoth, who are, patrons of fiend packs. They want to call down not gods, but they wish to call down a fiend. And with that fiend, they hope to bind it. However, the fiend has its own plans. And so the Herald is another character, and we have a faction tracker that allows you to manage who you are actually going to ally yourself with. He wants...
I love faction trackers.
Oh, so do we. We really, yeah.
Fame and faction. Yeah. That's also another level.
And so you can be either famous or infamous as well, depending on how you want to play the campaign, and then the world will react to you. And we have a storyteller tips to be able to mitigate that.
And a timeline to tell you where everyone is at any point in time.
Oh, that is really cool.
So you then get to choose. Do you draw in a fiend? What do you then do with this fiend? Do you try to slay it? Do you ally yourself to it? Do you bind it to your will? Do you give in to its will? Do you destroy the city?
Or do you not do nothing at all?
Or do nothing?
Just chill out
and watch the fireworks. Yeah. we love epic stories. The Red Opera was fantastically epic. Rick Hines did such an amazing job with our writing team. And Rick Hines is the writing director for this project. And so Satine, myself, David Granger, our art director, and Rick Hines, we've just poured epic into this. And we've done it through this artistic, creative lens of Bards.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, being from Los Angeles and San Francisco, you can see how gummy and shiny things are. But if you've ever been to LA, that's a facade. And so being able to create something similar and having all the districts be very different, all the people, the council, they're all representative of the different districts. So like having the political system and the nobles trying to siphon all of that magical water, and then by the time we have all these aqueducts, and by the time it gets down to the bottom level, the worker class is like, that is not okay. Right. We need to overthrow this government.
Right. I didn't even mention. So there's a revolution brewing in the city too that Vlania has started to nourish, and so you also can either ally yourself with the revolution, or you can quell the revolution rebellion. Again, player agency is so important, and as you mentioned with the tracking system, your actions have direct ramifications. So if you pull high with the Emerald Cabal, the revolution will not be appreciative, and they will attack you on sight, and vice versa.
Yeah, and other, like, they'll attack you or they won't, and other things will happen. Yeah. I love puzzles, and a lot of people don't like to play puzzles in their games.
Yeah.
This is like an overarching, like very intricately like weaved strategy. Yeah. And so
balancing.
Yes, exactly. So it's not just thinking about how to do this in encounters. It's how do you do this as a grand master, game master. Yeah. So, you can either run it right out of the book and just the way it is and just kind of take everything. Or we have that the book, the smaller book inside the book, that's for game masters. Do you want this on easy mode? Do you want this on intermediate or advanced? And so we have a range for everything. Yeah. I know it sounds like a lot, but because we are world builders and storytellers, and like I'm a story coach, we both coach people. So, it's really important to show people how to do this, not just tell you how, but say, here, try this. Here's an exact thing for you to do. And then if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah, people can approach it how they'd like to approach it. Again, these are just tools. We lay out tools. And some painters, all they need is charcoal. And I've seen some of the most beautiful pieces of work I've seen is either with the charcoal pencil or thick piece of charcoal.
Yeah.
Single line etching, and then others, now people are creating art in 3D with augmented reality. Yeah. So it really all depends on what the game master wants to do. I should now go pick up our daughter.
Yeah. No, you have to go.
Satine will still hang out with you guys, and I wish I could stay, but I have to go be daddy. So I will be back.
No, it's totally fair. Yeah. Drive safely, and thank you so much.
Yes, and while making a book, we also have an amazing daughter who is her favorite color is rainbow, and now getting close to galaxy.
Ooh.
And
that is
and her favorite other color is unicorn.
All the best colors, yeah. My 2-year-old just like he's really into lions right now, and specifically about these lions attacking us while we're just trying to have like dinner or something like that, or chill on the couch. So at any point in time, we could be attacked by a lion.
That is so cute. Yeah, we do a lot of role play with her. Right now, she's into storytelling, which I love. Are you kidding me? I mean, he's a writer.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm a writer, and I was like, tell us a story. And she likes to do round robin stories. So she starts it, and then, he or I will pick it up. And then, and we'll just kind of yes and each other and keep adding to it. Or she wants to tell a story, and now she wants you to tell a story, and now she wants you to tell a story. So, it's very
That's
sweet.
So cute.
We just got, maybe this would be good for you too. Playground Adventures by BJ Hensley. Totally amazing. developed for different age ranges. So it simplifies D&D for kids, understanding that they have very specific,
Yeah.
attention spans.
Yeah, I need to check this out. Is it Noggin's Playground Adventures? Is that it?
I don't think so. I think it's called Playground Adventures. If you just Google it and then put BJ Hensley.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was doing GM tips on Geek and Sundry, we talked about her products on that as well. So very, very cool. I admire what she does. Yeah. She also has a lot
anytime. Oh yeah, anytime I can, like, because right now I play a penguin, and my kid, despite like really loving lions, is he'll run from this penguin in a very jokey like I love this way. I'm like,
so
okay,
cute.
this is cool. It works out perfectly. Like as a parent, it's just so cute whenever that happens. But yeah, so. If I'm not mistaken, Satine, this was your first venture into writing for a TTRPG book. How was that?
Oh.
It kind of, I mean, obviously you have like such a plethora of history of creative endeavors and writing and stuff like that, but was this a little bit different for you? Were you like, I don't know, like I would be super nervous, but
Hey, writing is easy for me. I'm a script writer. I have 3 graphic novels, so I learned how to script write, and that's how I dungeon master. It's very efficient, which is funny because my husband, he's a novelist, and so he's the opposite. I'm like, I want efficiency, and he's like, let me turn one sentence into a very long, beautiful, elegant sentence. So we've joined forces. That's really cool. So I was a part of the Guild Adepts, which was an official back when D&D started kind of allowing their community to be a part of what they are doing. So it was the official writers, and then the Guild Adepts, and then DM's Guild. So that was kind of a thing. So we would write official content that was it was like unofficial official sub-content for their products. So I was a part of the first year of that. That was really cool. I've written a little bit. It's very complicated for the Adventures League stuff, and the books like, let's see if I can remember what they're called. Something's Guide to Everything Else. When Volos came out, there was a substitute Guild Adepts. And so product, I can't even remember what it's called at this point, but it's on the DM's Guild. And yeah, I was part of a group of writers, and it was really cool. Some of it was awesome. Some of it was very hard. Being the middle of a trilogy was really, really hard, especially since the last adventure of the trilogy was written first. And I got stuck as the middle child, having to figure out how to tie the first one to the second one. And so I have some experience with that. And I write stories all the time. Writing them for other people is it's a little harder, but because I've read so much content, it's also easy. But also, I'm a really mean game master. The cool thing is, and I helped Red Opera with their layout, I'm all about efficiency as a game master. I want to be able to lay things out and move the page and kind of have my eye go to exactly certain points. Jamison's awesome and allowing me to really help design the layout of this book so that you can access the information very easy. And we've even changed the format. Red Opera looks a certain way, but at the beginning of the chapter, we'll have what you can expect to find in it, very brief shortcuts of how to play this adventure, from social to exploration to combat, if you need to change it up because of the way your players are interacting with the world. I'm utilizing a lot of my expertise from live streaming, which is about fine-tuning and being really efficient with your content, so that I'm basically able to give my expertise to players and game masters through this book. And so it's actually really interesting. Jamison and I have this big meta vision, but we're also able to go in with Rick and kind of lay out, this is what it should have. This is the points of this. We now have 12 writers, and we'll have 10 side quests. So that's like 23 writers on this project, you know. And so how do you work with all these people and make sure your vision comes through? And because Jamison was he was a ghostwriter in his youth, he was also an editor. And so his eye and my eye as a game master, knowing what should be in the content, and also how do I express my expertise with these other writers, and then having them, you know, work on it as well. It is a massive Dungeons and Dragons game. But it's really wonderful because I am also a director, and I'm also an art director. So this is kind of just more directing. It feels amazing to work with such creative people, being able as a dungeon master to really look at every person's expertise, right? 'Cause that's what I do as a game master. Like, oh, you're playing this character, you like puzzles. You're playing this character, you like to fight. So I will have my combat or my encounter and then allow things to happen in it to amplify each person's expertise. So we're really doing that as co-creative directors. You know, Jamison is definitely a leader. He is one of the most positive, like positive reinforcement. Really, he listens to everybody. He sees the power in everyone, and he really uplifts them. And so, you know, making this book has been one of the coolest things. I thought working for Dungeons and Dragons was my favorite thing that I've ever done, which it's up there. But I was a community manager of Dungeons and Dragons, in case, you know, people don't know. But working with this group, we wake up every day, we hop on our calls. You know, what people don't see is that we actually work about 16 hours a day on this, you know, with the Kickstarter and organizing the book. But this is our life. This is what we do, you know. Some people go trekking through the forest. We wake up and we work and we work. But it is a
trek through
pleasure.
creative words.
Yes, exactly. It's a pleasure to be able to do this. And, you know, I've been a part of other companies that were not supportive, and they were very like, you know, like, no, no, no. And Jamison is all yes, yes. And as his wife, you know, he always turns to me and goes, what do you think? You know, and then I give my 2 cents, and he either says yes, or he's like, yes, and what about this? And then we kind of just feed off each other. It's like a music jam.
Yeah, like I think that's so important for the TTRPG industry as a whole, is kind of mirroring that thing where creativity can be cultivated and nurtured, so that you can kind of enjoy this wonderful opportunity, but still kind of deliver the product that you're always hoping to those people. So
yeah, and you can
really
see
cool.
here we are collectors, right?
Yeah.
So everything we want it to be like expert. We want it to be like the most beautiful. Oh, I think you can see that we've got magic. Not magic. We have vampire and mage and changeling, I think, up here.
Oh yeah. Vampire and changeling are like some of my favorite ever. So no, I totally.
You should definitely talk to Jamison at some point, because I played vampire, but he loved mage and changeling, so I haven't been able to go into that.
Yeah, Changeling has been my favorite. I encourage you, check out Changeling. Mage I have yet to figure out yet. I've attempted it a couple of times, and it's just been like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But maybe one day I'll find that perfect puzzle piece in terms of Mage. But kind of looking back at, like, you know, the amazing books that you have behind you and stuff like that, were there any in particular that you look back and you were like, this is a good like foundation or inspiration for what I want to accomplish here with Sirens?
Well, I mean, it's all about creativity and you know, aesthetic and function. And I'm like thinking back there, we've got gosh, there's so much. We have a whole shelf of Neil Gaiman. Now, Neil Gaiman is a master storyteller, and you know, being able to create a story that is so powerful that it transcends whatever tier that you're going to be on. Like, that is the kind of inspiration that we're looking at for this. So you could come in at level 1 and the world will interact with you in that certain way. We have that. We have all these other game systems. Literally everything that we're doing now is kind of an accumulation of all of this. So I've got about 12 Game Master screens right here to really remind me how our Game Master screen needs to be, because I am a very picky dungeon master, and it makes me just crazy when I have a dungeon master screen and only part of it is what I need, and all this other stuff is like, I don't need any
wasted
of that.
space.
So, exactly. So imagine I get to help design. So I'm also a graphic designer. I did I don't know if you saw the Wormwood or the campaign coins, but
I did. The campaign coins, I am super excited. I think that those are my favorite coins, right? It just I'm super excited to see it. That looks gorgeous.
I don't know if you saw, but it has this little indentation so you can put your dice on there and then slide your Bardic inspiration or your inspiration over to your friend. That way you can visually track.
Yeah. Oh.
So everything that we do is form and function. So part of, being a packaging designer and a graphic designer is how do we create things in the book? How do we lay out the book so it functions? How do we lay out the game screen? What is the purpose of the game screen? Well, it's to have information, but also on the other side, it's to immerse your players into that world. So we've got Salvata in the front. We've got the good guys and the bad guys, on the sides, kind of about to take fight. And then on the inside, so I now use my computer for everything. Until recently, I was all handwritten. Now I use D&D Beyond all the time. So if I have my computer here, that means that this information is going to be priority. I need to be able to access this. This needs to be very important. Everything in this upper area above my laptop screen is very important. And then everything under that is stuff I'm going to need occasionally, very, very occasionally. So I can actually scoot my game screen back, fold up my laptop and role play with that, or just kind of move it around. So ergonomics, right? Visual ergonomics, quick reference. We'll be able to have your faction tracker right here and available to you. We'll have the information on all the discs and who's in charge of the discs and the things that you can find all right here, as well as your conditions and prices of things for this city specifically. So I'm really proud of that. And then all of our add-ons, of course, are just how do we have things that we are proud of, that we would love to collect, and also work with each other. So I don't know if you've seen this, but we have one in cherry and one in Purple Heart.
Oh, the Wormwood?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The cherry one is the one I'm looking at right now, because that I love so cool.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. So this is the Metatron's cube top down of Salvata, and it's made by our grand architect, and it also is, as he said, a giant magic item. But you also have the City of Salvata here, right on the inside. So you're really immersed in this world and this game.
What material is that that picture, I guess?
Yeah, it's fake leather. And it's like this, I can't believe how vibrant it is. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, that's why I was surprised for something like there. I would assume it'd be like gloss or something like that, but no, that is very so eye-popping.
Yeah, so we've got these, and then they made another sample set so that we could see it without the filigree. And of course, we're playing in it and able to I've got a ton of metal dice, so I usually break these, and they're very well crafted. But it's been really nice to roll on it. And we've got minis, coins, and very specific dice from Level Up. So it was awesome to design it so your minis will fit in here. Those unique shaped dice, those Bard dice that we created that I've never seen anywhere else. And
nor I. Do you have just because you're spoiling me with all these physical products, would you happen to have the dice anywhere close by?
Not yet. They're getting shipped here. I know. This whole thing with like all this, the delays in shipping is just driving me nuts. But I think it should get here next week. So I have videos. I was like, do I show the video of them? People are always asking about that D6. It's a series of books that are askew, or as I call them, the askew of books. So it's so funny the way and the weight it is, and the way they balance them. When you roll it, they like pop and they like do this weird bouncing thing, and it totally rolls very well. It has it doesn't just land on that flat surface.
Yeah.
And it feels like an optical illusion when you watch it, because it'll be like boop on the side, and you're like, how did it even do that? We have that. We've got the microphone, so you have your mic drop for your D20. We've got the inkwell, ink pen for your percentile, because it's like, for me, I'm an artist. I want to be able to visually see, because I hate searching for my dice. Where's the percentiles? Or like most everyone I know, which one's the D8? And it's like, I know, I've been using these for 30 years, but doesn't mean it's not still hard. So now, as a person who's very visual, I can be like, oh, there's my ink pen and I can just roll them. And they roll based on the level up unicorn dice. I don't know if you've seen those. So it rolls, it's tapered. So it actually, you roll it, but it spins in a circle, and then it'll land on the... Yeah, it's wild.
So cool. Yeah. As someone who has played an entire D&D game accidentally with a D12, I definitely need those differentiations between the two, because I was just like, man, I really suck at rolling here. And then finally at the end, they're like, that's a D12. That makes sense.
Yeah. You're like, I just can't understand why I'm not rolling anything higher than
Then a 12. Like, what is happening here?
Oh, that's straight up rolling for story.
Yeah, like the whole time I'm just like, I guess I'm failing again. What's happening?
Fail up.
Exactly. Yeah, it was such a test in that. All right, so we are coming up at the end of the interview, and I know you have so much to do and such, especially coming with the book. My last question is if all your dreams concerning this book is accomplished, what would that look like at the end?
Oh man. Well, it would look like it would probably look like more people, and this isn't like people backing, and the money we make, a fraction comes to us, right? It actually goes to pay everybody. We want to be able to have everyone full time, and people need to get paid what they deserve, more than they deserve, honestly. So my happiness would be that we have a lot of backers, and then each one of those backers sends me or Jamison and I like images of their game or their characters, or just like, this is how the adventure went. Like that makes me happy. I'm putting together a mural that is me taking selfies with people who've asked me to take selfies with them. So like, what the magic for me is a community having having conversations with the community. So my happiness would be to hear what people think about it, and the kind of adventures that their parties gone on. Yeah, that's my happiness.
That's a dream right there. That would be amazing, and I definitely wish the best. And hopefully, people who are watching, check below on the comments if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching live right now, go click on that link over to the Kickstarter, back it, get that premium like special edition with the foil and stuff like that. That is gorgeous. And definitely get the that too. Just grab it all. Like it's perfect. It's amazing. If you had to buy one product this year, I would definitely recommend this. Back it, because we want Apotheosis to continue to create this epic cinematic universe. Because that's my hope. And look back and be like, I was there when Iron Man 1 came out.
Yeah, we really want people to feel that too.
Yeah. Oh, that is perfect. So everyone, thank you so much. Satine, thank you so much. And definitely send thanks over to Jamison. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Goodbye. We love you. Have the best of Thursdays. And we'll see you on the flip side.
To save Salvata, the city that we love, an evil force has corrupted our home. Many fell, and now the Bards they stand alone. Blessed power rains down in waterfall. Holy magic designed by the Emerald Cabal. Injustice rots our city's very soul. Oppression is the noble's only goal. Rebellion rings in every street and every tavern hall. Now the time has come, my friends, to all answer the call. All answer the call. Now answer the Sirens, Battle of the Bards is an epic 5th edition campaign and setting, set in the decadent city of Salvata. Filled to the brim with over 300 pages, 20 adventures, over 10 new Bard subclasses, and countless magical items, this is a fully immersive adventure. Mystery, intrigue, and deception lurk within every dark alley. The City of Salvata features 10 districts, including battle coliseums, amphitheaters, comedy clubs, taverns, bazaars, underground magic fighting rings, a new Bardic University, and much, much more. You don't need to be a bard to adventure here. All are welcome in Salvata. Dive even further into the story with our partners, Mixed Dimensions, Wormwood, Level Up Dice, Campaign Coins, and Sirenscape. With the Weave storytelling platform, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Shard, and Foundry VTT, you can even play virtually. With a full orchestral soundtrack, multiple endings, and new game mechanics to encourage exploration and improvisation, Sirens Battle of the Bards places your party not only in the crucible of conquest, but at the heart of a battle for the soul of a growing empire. Will you sell out? Will the city be ground to dust? Will the heavens be lured down and open before you? Will you join the Emerald Cabal, the Rebellion, or forge your own path? The fate of tens of thousands is in your party's hands. Join our Kickstarter and inspire revolution.